Hey, welcome to the Jason Show, where we talk movies, music, TV shows, where I recommend something that you need to know. Don't forget to hit like, then subscribe below. Hey everyone, my name is Jason Gonsalves, and I'm an actor and screenwriter here in ATL. Up late and need a movie recommendation? I got you! Here on my channel, I will give you pop culture you can consume. Now, for my first ever YouTube video, I thought that I would recommend my top 10 movies from 2020 to you, which you can stream right now. Without any further ado, let's get into it. So in screenwriting, part of developing a script is the marketing and bullshit like that. And one of the tools that we use is a log line. A log line is basically a single sentence that describes the movie as a whole. Basically meant as a marketing tool to kind of get producers to, have their ears perk up and listen to you and the money signs appear in their eyes. It can vary in its approach and setup. I need to work on this skill, and so I thought this YouTube channel would be a dope way to practice that. So I developed a log line for each movie I'm about to recommend to you. You ready? A teenage female rapper who deals drugs that give each user a unique superpower gets caught in a revenge plot with a man who's looking for his stolen daughter. The movie is Project Power. I will include a picture right here. And basically this film was so cool to me. It's a superhero film, so if you don't like superhero films, then something's wrong with you. No, I'm joking. I get it. There's a lot of superhero movies being made, but this movie is so unique. Like, the drug affects everybody differently, and you don't know what superpower you're gonna get. So that was a really cool concept. Jamie Foxx is in it, which Jamie Foxx is an amazing actor. I mean, you've seen his work throughout the years and he's just gotten better and better. And this really plays on his strong suits. Like, he's funny in this, he's really cool, and he's a badass. And you know Jamie Foxx could be a badass. I remember when I saw him in Django, that was a really cool role for him. Also, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which my favorite movie, or one of my favorite movies, is 500 Days of Summer. And he's fucking awesome as well in it. But the real standout of the movie, hold on, let me find her. Oh, internet, you going so slow. Okay, the real standout of the movie, to me personally, is Dominique Fishback. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right. Yeah, Dominique Fishback. She's, I'm sure been in other stuff. Actually, let me look. Wow. So Dominique Fishback has been actually in a lot of stuff. I'm looking at her IMDb right now. She's been in a Jay-Z short music video. She's been in The Americans, Blue Bloods, Night Comes On, The Hate You Give, Random Acts of... Oh, she was in Random Acts of Flyness? I love that show. Wow, she was in like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... See, this just got... The Deuce, Judas and the Black Messiah, that movie's coming out soon. That is something that you need to look out for. The point is, Dominique Fishback does excellent work in this movie, and she captivates you every time she comes on the screen, and she raps, which, if you're a lover of rap music like I am, I don't know if you could tell from my intro, but it was just a nice element. And the director, or the writer of Project Power, actually, Mattson Tomlin. Okay, when I was reading about this movie, Mattson Tomlin literally fought for them to have this character rap throughout the movie. I don't know, people are weird with rap, which is strange to me because rap is amazing, but people just have these like weird perceptions of it, I think, and he probably had to fight a lot with producers to get it in there because they didn't know if it would sell. And that, to me, is what made the movie stand out more than anything. She integrates like her rapping throughout the storyline, and it becomes something like very sentimental and meaningful. All in all, it's kind of like your basic setup plot. Like, Jamie Foxx's daughter in the movie gets kidnapped, and lots of secrets, lots of turns, and he intertwines with Dominique Fishback's character, and then Dominique Fishback's character is with Jordan Joseph-Levitt. It's a really, really cool movie. There's really, really stunning visual effects in it. The action's non-stop, and like I said, it was a unique take on the whole superhero trope, which I thought I would like. You have to stream this right now if you have not seen it. It's on Netflix. I mean, what can you lose? Everybody has a Netflix or somebody's Netflix account. You can just check it out. But that is my top 10, or that is my 10 out of 10. Moving on. This movie right here. A group of ancient warriors with regenerative powers suddenly gain a new member to their squad, but her arrival is met with strife. A group of ancient warriors with regenerative powers suddenly gain a new member to their squad, but her arrival is met with strife and betrayal. Okay, this movie is The Old Guard. The Old Guard is led by Charlize Theron, which, if you know Charlize Theron work, okay, like she's a very committed actor, you know? When she does action movies, she does her stunts. When she does drama, she goes for it. When she does comedy, she's great. Like, she is one of the best actors in the game right now. I just see her being a legend in her field. She already is somewhat of a legend. She got the Academy Award where she went from this to this. Okay. So she knows what she's doing at this point. She's been in the game for a while, and she leads this movie with grace. Again, this is sort of like a superhero movie, so if you're not into that, you're dumb. No, I'm just joking. Look, if you don't like superhero movies, I'm sorry, but these are 10 and 9 on the list, okay? I have a lot of variety to show you today. Don't exit out. Hang in there. Okay, so The Old Guard, like I said, is led by Charlize Theron, and it's a really cool concept. It was based off of a comic book of the same name. You know, it's led by a badass woman, and I really like this trend that we're seeing where, like, women are kind of, like, rising up and being superheroes, which is really cool. They still need to make a Storm superhero movie. I don't know what's taking so long on that. Charlize is part of this group, like I said, of ancient warriors, and they pretty much can't be killed, but then they can be killed at any moment. I don't want to give away too much. I'm just recommending these movies to you. I'm not giving you a whole, like, summary. I just want you to check it out because the action in it is insane. There's also Kiki Layne in this movie, which, if you've seen If Beale Street Could Talk, you know her work. She's so cool in this movie because, and If Beale Street Can Talk, which, if you don't know who that is, it's a Barry Jenkins movie adapted from a James Baldwin book. I don't know if you know anything about that, but that's a really, really interesting movie full of beautiful performances. And one of the beautiful performances of that movie is Kiki Layne. She leads If Beale Street Could Talk with such, like, grace and a sweetness about her, and then in this movie, it's all gone. She is a complete badass. She's, like, in the military. She suddenly gets the powers of this ancient group that Charlize Theron is in, and they're all connected, like, through their brains, so they somehow find each other, and she kind of gets wrapped up in this crazy world, basically the superpowers that she has just suddenly come upon. And, you know, can you imagine, like, suddenly finding out that you have superpowers and that you can't be killed? I mean, that premise right there is so interesting to me. It seems like they both are doing their own stunts, so it's, like, very involved. Like, you see them, you know, getting to fight, and the action choreo is fucking insane. It's insane. It's insane. You can stream that on Netflix as well. So, yeah, that's number 9 out of 10. A colorful night filled with bombastic music and love grows exceedingly more interesting as we explore the raw, complex interactions between the gorgeous partygoers. Now, that's a logline that maybe I should rework, but that's really, encapsulates the whole movie. Lovers Rock, you can stream that on Amazon Prime right now. Directed by Steve McQueen, it was like a series of 5 films that he did for Amazon Prime, and it was my favorite out of the 5. Have you ever seen Work by Rihanna and Drake, like the music video for it? The first one, where her and Drake are in this, like, you know, kind of like really tight, enclosed, like, sweaty place. Okay, that doesn't really make it sound appealing, but I don't know, something about, like, reggae music and the way they dance and, like, just the culture in general, the way they talk. The music was phenomenal throughout the movie. Me and my roommates were shazamming the songs throughout the whole movie. And this is one of those movies where it's like, there's not necessarily a set plot for you to follow. It's just kind of going through this night, and you're going through the night with these different characters. It's like jumping off from storyline to storyline. And they all have a really nice, complete arc. Visually and sonically, it just pleased me to watch, and I really enjoyed my night when I was watching it. So that's my number 8 movie to recommend to you. And if you don't know Steve McQueen, he does, like, kind of this, like, raw thing with his films where it really captures a reality, if that makes sense. Like, he did 12 Years a Slave, the movie where Lupita won the Best Actress for at the Academy Awards. Okay, One of August Wilson's, oh, this is number 7. One of August Wilson's cycle plays comes to life with prolific precision, featuring the late Chadwick Boseman and the ever masterful Viola Davis. Period. Okay, so this is a specific logline that I gave to it because sometimes you just need to sell the movie based off of like who's starring in it, and that sentence alone would have hooked me on, which is why I went with that logline. I didn't really give you any plot points because, again, I don't really want to spoil it for you. August Wilson, if you don't know who that is, he's one of the most, I'm going to say this word again just because I kind of like it, prolific writers in theater. He wrote a cycle play for the Black experience for each decade. So each decade, like starting from the 1900s all the way to the 1990s, I believe, he writes a play that encapsulates the Black experience in that decade from his perspective. But his perspective is so revered and relatable. It's really, really solid work that August Wilson does, and you can see it from across the board, especially from the older generation, about how impactful he was in the theater community. He's considered like the Black Shakespeare. Him alone is why you should watch this movie. His writing's amazing. I will say, the thing about August Wilson is he does a lot of monologues, which is like an actor's dream, right? But they're so complex. They tell a story and you're like on the edge of your seat while they tell these stories. Chadwick Boseman, for instance, gave the performance of his life, sadly, like, rest in peace, because he was so impactful for so many reasons. He really, really brought change with him, I feel like. I feel like I can speak for everyone saying that Chadwick Boseman is going to be extremely missed. And so for him to have done such a fantastic job in his last performance, it warms my heart, and it made me want to listen to everything he was saying and pay attention to every movement he was doing. And as an actor, I learned so much with watching him. He gives a monologue that has you in tears by the end, or has you feeling some type of emotion. And if Viola Davis... Viola. Okay, now I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Viola Davis is my favorite actress. So, favorite actor, period. So I might be a little biased when I'm saying this. Get something to drink because I am so thirsty over Viola. Sorry, that was really aggressive, but Viola just gets me hype. Viola, she turns into a different person in this. And a lot of my training, and I feel like a lot of film training, has to do with being like authentic to who you are. So like you're kind of discovering facets of yourself, you know? And I love that when an actor is really relating to their role and they're bringing themselves, and you can tell that it's like authentic and genuine. And I don't know if Ma Rainey is in Viola, but it sure just, she made that character come alive. I had read the play in college, and seeing it through her, I saw so much more. I learned so much more about that character that I didn't really even pay attention to when I was reading it. It was just a masterful performance. Mark my words, I would not be surprised if she's gonna get nominated for an Oscar for that, and I would not be surprised if she won it, because out of every performance that I've seen this year, she just really commanded the screen. Her performance in Ma Rainey was the #1 performance in Time magazine for this year of 2020. God, and really this movie is about his performances. And the plot line is very interesting. It has a lot of themes that I think people of color should pay attention to. When you watch it, a lot of the things are still true today that August Wilson is talking about. However unfortunate in dealing with racism and just like how Black people are treated in the entertainment industry. There's just a lot going on in the movie, and I don't want to tell you exactly what the plot line is. Just know that it focuses on basically like a blues singer and her band and their experience one day in the recording studio. Just sit back, and if you're a fan of performances, get ready. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom you can stream on Netflix. Number 6. My number 6 recommendation. One of DC's most infamous villains gets her own movie, center stage with the most badass women you will ever see in your life. Birds of Prey can be streamed on HBO Max right now. That was the only way I could describe this movie. I mean, in terms, okay, I know I said I'm sorry, if you don't like superhero movies, something is wrong with you. This was a good movie, and I feel like it did not get any respect, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it might have to do with the fact that it was led by women, because, you know, I don't know, people just have a thing with women and being powerful, I think, personally. I mean, it was definitely, you know, vulgar and shit like that, but you're dealing with Harley Quinn, so it would be wrong if it wasn't vulgar. I think we can all agree Margot Robbie slays the game when she plays Harley Quinn. She's also joined by Mary Elizabeth Winston and Jurnee Smollett. I don't know if I said Mary's full name correctly, but she was in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, so she forever is going to be one of my favorite actresses. And then Jurnee Smollett, she's consistently put in work throughout the years. And Lovecraft Country, if you have not seen that, you are doing something wrong. You're going through it with Harley Quinn after she's just broken up with the Joker, and she gets basically into this girl group of superheroes, and it's very unconventional. It's like, you wonder how Harley Quinn's gonna team up with them, and then it happens, and you're like, oh, makes sense, you know? I thought Ewan McGregor did a really good job as the villain. He had this really gruesome scene that set the tone for what kind of villain he was going to be. But the thing that stands out above all else in this movie are the action scenes. I'm talking like Harley Quinn literally breaks a dude's leg and then re-breaks it again in the same moment. Like, it's like, okay, this bad guy has his leg up like this, like he's trying to kick her, and then he like has his leg up against the wall, and then Harley Quinn comes and kicks his leg like this. Oh wait, no, wait. Just know that the action scenes are next level. They're so intense, and to see like women doing it again, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a huge Beyonce fan and just love seeing women like be powerful, like. And then the soundtrack for it, I mean, you're talking Doja Cat, we're talking Megan Thee Stallion, we're talking about Normani, we're talking about other people. Those people in the soundtrack are like really what helps kind of like cement the tone too. It's like a fun party. It's just a good movie, and if you're feeling like, again, like you want to watch an action superhero movie, I really recommend this. She's also going to be starring in The Suicide Squad 2 by James Gunn, the same guy who directed Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Like, the humor, like the action combined that's going to come for this next Suicide Squad is going to be exciting to see. And you know, it might have some plot points from Harley Quinn in there, so you might want to do your homework if you like to, you know, watch movies in a continuous manner. That's my number 6 choice. Number 5. 2 South Sudan refugees escape with their lives to take asylum in Britain, where their luck only seems to worsen as their living conditions take a turn for the demonic. This movie is called His House. It can be streamed on Netflix right now. This movie stars Sophie Derisu and Wunmi Mosaku. Wunmi is actually also in Lovecraft Country, which I just mentioned about Jurnee Smollett. You have got to check out Lovecraft Country, but she does an amazing job in that show. Probably, I don't know, she's probably like my favorite character on that show. But anyways, it's definitely like a movie where you're like, this is going to be creepy. From the trailer, you're like, okay, this is going to be like one of those haunted house type movies, right? But it's so much more. It's really gets you in the gut with the twist and the meaning behind it all. And also, I just feel like the thing that's scary most about it is that you almost have this gut feeling that this type of shit happens, you know? This type of shit happens for refugees. Imagine escaping from a war-torn country and then coming to a haunted house. Whew, you gotta see this movie. That's why it's number 5. Number 4. A passionate drummer tours the US with his girlfriend as a heavy metal duo, but a twist of fate takes away his hearing. But is it permanent? Okay, and this movie is called Sound of Metal. This movie can be streamed on Amazon Prime. This movie stars Riz Ahmed and Olivia Cook, which, okay, Riz Ahmed has been getting a lot of Oscar buzz and a lot of just buzz in general from this movie, but he has a really solid portfolio. I mean, he starred in a couple of things like Nightcrawler. There was this HBO show that he started, I think it's called The Night Of. He's been doing work consistently though. And then Olivia Cooke, she's been, again, in a lot of different things. She was in one of my favorite movies, Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, which, if you want to watch that movie, it's one of my favorites, but it's heartbreaking. But she plays in that, does a phenomenal job, so I'm always a forever fan of hers. She's in this movie and plays his girlfriend. Now the two of them are touring cities and he starts losing his hearing, and he's also a recovering addict. Just think of like, you're touring the US with your girlfriend and you're finally like making shit happen for yourself. So when you start like seeing results from all your hard work, you're like, yes! And then when you finally get that big break, you're touring cities, you lose your hearing. And you need your hearing to play drums. You need your hearing to be in a band. And then being a recovering addict. So you are prone to using when you're stressed or you are depressed. And that's all I'm gonna give you. Because the movie from that point goes in so many different directions, but such like an intense emotional ride that I wanted to be on the entire time. It was amazing, and I definitely can see him getting nominated for an Oscar for this role because he was just fantastic. And Olivia Cooke, of course, she does so great. She has her eyebrows as blonde throughout the movie, which was, it fit her character. She also just got casted in the Game of Thrones spin-off, House of Dragons, so congratulations to her. This is exciting. Next one. Yo, this movie, a Beyonce-fied version of The Lion King. Now, this movie is called Black is King. You can stream it on Disney Plus right now. This movie is fantastic. The music that Beyonce put together, it's so cohesive. I think the point of this movie was to sort of remind Black people that they're royalty, that they're amazing, they come from such a rich culture and background. And again, like when you live in America and you're kind of like around the majority, which is like white people, you kind of forget where you come from in a sense. And especially at this time where, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement is going on and so many of us are getting awakened and enlightened about what's been going on for centuries. It's a powerful movie to kind of celebrate and be joyful for who we are. I don't understand how this movie could not be at the top of your list. There's a lot of stuff that Beyonce put in there that is an ode to the culture, and it's just really entertaining to watch in general too. And like I said, the music is fantastic, and it essentially tells the story of The Lion King. Like if you're a fan of The Lion King, it's a cool like interpretation of it. I can't speak enough about this movie. I don't even know if what I said made any sense. Oh God, Beyonce. Whew. This, like I said, is streaming on Disney Plus now, and you can also stream the album, I believe, on like Spotify. I have Tidal because I'm a Beyonce ride or die to the end, and that's her streaming app, so if you have Tidal, I'm positive it's on there. I don't know if it's on the other stuff, because, you know, Beyonce be exclusive. That was my number 3 movie of the year. Now, number 2, Joe Gardner is fighting for that big break that every artist dreams of, and he finally gets it. But his life gets cut short, which leads his soul to fight for a second chance. Yes, this movie is Soul. It's number 2 on my list, and it can be streamed on Disney Plus right now. Pixar just can do no wrong. And so when this movie came up, I had no idea what it was about. My family just wanted to watch it. It's a good, like, you know, we're thinking like Pixar, Jamie Foxx is in it. Jamie Foxx again making an appearance. Tina Fey's in this as well. But this movie came at such an important time. I feel like so many of us like went through 2020 just confused and just like kind of panicky about what the rest of our lives were going to look like due to the pandemic, due to like the police killings, and the election cycle was really intense for Americans this year. Watching this movie came at a time where I kind of needed to remind myself to be like kind and to not always make everything about accomplishments and what you bring to the table, but rather what you do for others, the impact you have on other people, so many topics were covered, and it moved me to tears. It didn't move my family to tears. I was pretty much the only person to cry. But still, it was just so good, and it was so unexpected. You know, I didn't expect to be blown away by this movie, and everybody that I talked to loves this movie. It's just so good. It really deals with your soul, and so I think it's an appropriate title, Soul. It's streaming now on Disney+. Drumroll please, bitches. Hitman! This is my #1 movie recommendation of 2020, okay? Okay. A playwright struggles with turning 40 and losing her mother, which leads her down a path to become a rapper. Right. Okay, interesting, right? And this is called The 40-Year-Old Version. Not Virgin with Steve Carell, but Version. Rada Blank wrote, starred, and directed in this movie, okay? She is hilarious. Like, the fact that I'm assuming in her 40s, I didn't look up her age, but this movie is called The 40-Year-Old Version, and she wrote it, so I'm assuming she's 40. But, like, the fact that somebody in their 40s can just come essentially out of nowhere and blow you away with their work, their performance, and everything, like, literally have a standout performance for me out of the year. To me, this was the best movie of the year. This movie follows her throughout this journey, and it reminds you that, like, no matter what age you are, no matter what you're going through, when you're passionate about something and when something clicks, it clicks. And for some people it happens later in life. For some people it happens really early. But you cannot be hard on yourself, and you can't close people off. Also just had a really cool dynamic with exploring rap, which, again, like, I'm a huge fan of rap, so, like, you know, with Project Power, that was a selling point for me. And so it was sort of a selling point with this movie too. If you're like me, you like rap where they're talking about partying and stuff too. That gets me turned up. I love music like that. But I also like music where there's, like, rap where there's substance and they're telling you a story, or they're telling you about a way of living that you know, might not necessarily have thought of. Like J. Cole, for instance, is really good at, like, immersing you in kind of this story when he's rapping, and you just, like, listen and hanging on to every word that he's saying. And this movie explores that kind of version of rap, or that type of rap. And it also explores, like, being a playwright and, like, dealing with turning 40 and, like, loss, like, you know, death and stuff, which 2020 has so much of those themes. It's all in black and white too, so it has that, like, classic feel already to it. She's getting a lot of buzz for her performance, for her writing, for her directing, and I think she should. I think this movie should get nominated for every Oscar that it can be had. Lena Waithe, I don't know if you know who she is, but she produced this movie. She also produced my favorite film of last year, Queen and Slim. I may have a type, I don't know. Yeah, that's my #1 movie of the year. If you haven't seen it, it's definitely kind of flying under the radar, but I think it'll probably start picking up speed whenever the award season comes up, because I can't see this not being nominated for something. It needs to be nominated. Anyways, those are my top 2020 films that I recommended to you, my top 10. If there's a movie that you want to know about, if you're on the fence about it, then comment below and I'll respond. Other than that, like, subscribe, and you guys have an awesome day. Please be safe out there. Love you guys. Thank you for checking in with me for my first ever video, and peace.